in Ashanti New Town when he was a small boy, where a woman suspected of being sympathetic to the Convention People's Party was caught by these NLM elements. And they spread her legs, they opened her thighs, they spread her legs, and pounded her private part with pistol, woman, until she died. Are these Democrats? These people are worse than the people Osama bin Laden commanded. They are far worse than the people Fode Sanko commanded. That's how they killed the woman. And they killed the woman because allegedly she was sympathetic to the Convention People's Party. Being sympathetic to the Convention People's Party was a crime punishable by death, slow death. These are the people. These are the people we are talking about. And they're wasting our years, We so-called fight for democracy and rule of law. This is rule of law? Abba, please respect us a little. How can this be rule of law? Mother, listen to me. They started the violence, the killing, the maiming, the bombing, the assassinations and so on. In 1954, it took 4 years, 4 clear years before the Preventive Detention Act was passed. So for 4 years, Nkrumah tolerated these mad men and women who were killing and maiming, who wanted a federated state, who wanted all the gold money and the cocoa money for Ashanti alone. Nkrumah tolerated them for 4 years before the Preventive Detention Act was passed. The Preventive Detention Act, you know when it was passed? It was passed after the murder of Kobodisai's sister. Yeah. Kobodisai was Minister of Interior. They killed the sister. Now, not many people know that Nkrumah, as head of state of Ghana, was banned from entering Ashanti. Can you imagine? That some people, part of Ghana, Ashanti, they banned Kwame Nkrumah from entering Ashanti. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Can you believe Nkrumah was living in Accra, near the Malata market, in a brick house, burnt brick house, near the Malata market. He was there with his mother, old lady, Madam Yaniba. They went and bombed the house. Nkrumah was in the house. They bombed the house to rust. Look, why Nkrumah didn't die early is still a miracle for most of us. They bombed the house near the Malata market. Madam Asantua, she now lives in Adenta. Pan-African Television has interviewed her before. If you have the tape, play it. Let people hear the Madam Asantua. Small, innocent schoolgirl went to the Accra Sports Stadium for the celebration of the independence anniversary. They bombed the school children. They bombed them. I'll be very happy if our production team will show the interview with Madam Asantua. They bombed her. They bombed her to rust. Today, Madam Asantua has no leg. She is still in pain after that bombing. Look at the innocent school girl at Korombubu, who was given a bouquet of flowers and shattered to death. Look at Sergeant Ametewe, who attempted to assassinate the Osadifo in the Flagstaff house. Nkrumah was walking to his office. Sergeant Ametewe opened fire on Nkrumah. He wanted to kill Nkrumah. You understand? In the process, Salif Udagati was hit by a bullet in his head. He died.
I think that's one of the murder cases in
Ghana. He died. Yeah. Today, his wife, Salif Udagati's wife, is still alive. She lives in Kanda. His son has just retired from the Ghana Armed Forces and so on.
Yes.
So these people, what right do they have to be talking about democracy? What right do they have to be talking about democracy? These people who could capture a human being, Boy Moses, a human being called Boy Moses.
Put him in a cage.
One of Nkrumah's confidants, they captured him, they put him in a cage like a monkey. They tied the cage to a moving vehicle and drove him through the principal streets of Accra. They are talking about democracy and fighting against tyranny and so on. I can't believe this. Why? Look, some of us are still alive. These books will be available forever and so on. The history of Ghana cannot be distorted. They will not be allowed to distort the history of Ghana. Democracy and what? These people. And you see, after trying to kill Nkrumah, after trying to kill his mother, after trying to kill his ministers, after killing innocent school children and so on, they expected Kwame Nkrumah to go with them with a bouquet of flowers and kiss them on both cheeks. It will never happen. Why? India introduced the Preventive Detention Act before Ghana introduced the Preventive Detention Act. As we speak, right now, the Patriots Act that the U.S. has enacted, is it not the same as the Preventive Detention Act? And yet, these elements are ready to see America as a democratic society, but they will not see Ghana and Nkrumah as a democratic society. Today, as we speak, the United Kingdom, Britain, don't they have laws which are the same as the Preventive Detention Act? And yet, these fictitious Democrats, they see nothing wrong with Britain, but they see everything wrong with Osadifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. In any case, when they were fighting against Osadifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who were their closest allies? Their closest ally to the West was Ufe Buani. And the Ufe Buani story is interesting. Massa, first of all, Ufe Buani, as president of La Côte d'Ivoire, of Ivory Coast, was a member of parliament in France and a French citizen. Ufe Buani presided over a one-party state. They had no problem with Ufe Buani's one-party state. He was their ally, he was their friend. They were hobnobbing with him and helping him. Their friend to the east was Eyaduma. Eyaduma was running a one-party state. They had no problems with the one-party state that Eyaduma was running. They were going there for money, they were going there for weapons and so on to overthrow the Nkrumah government. The only one-party state they didn't like was Nkrumah's one-party state.
There was no one-party state then.
Master,
there was no, yes.
Later, they said that later, they post, grant them that.
Yeah, okay.
So when they said they didn't like one-party state, what we're actually saying that they didn't like one-party state with Nkrumah as the head. And that if there was a one-party state with an Eyaduma, they were happy. If there was a one-party state with Ufe Buani, they were happy with it. These hypocrites who talk at both sides of their mouth. You know, it is not in their interest to be raising these issues. Because anytime they raise these issues, the true history will surface. So if I were them, if you know that you have such a sordid past, you hide it. You don't proclaim it. You see, I've heard you people who are studying law and who are distinguished lawyers like my brother here. So let's separate the history from the law and so on.
We can't separate them.
They are inseparable. Justice Banle was not wrong. Sir Akukosa was not wrong. Justice Akinwumi were not wrong when they upheld the constitutional right of the people of Ghana to make laws which fight against terrorism.
Yeah.
They were not wrong.
You were not wrong, yes.
We are having this situation because unfortunately over a long period of time, we allowed the practice of law, the teaching of law and so on, to be dominated by the right wing in this country. That is why the law has become what it is. That is why the law is interpreted in the manner in which it is interpreted. And that is why, for such a purely partisan meeting aimed at idolizing terrorists and gangsters and thieves, our Chief Justice, who is supposed to be non-partisan and neutral, will sit in such a meeting. We have allowed it. It is time for the left in Ghanaian politics to realize that every place, every institution, every idea, anything and everything is contestable. We should contest for everything. We should encourage people to become lawyers. We should encourage people to become engineers. We should encourage people to go into all the spaces. We should encourage people to acquire all the knowledge. We should contest every inch. We should contest every idea. The time has come to mobilize like never before. Because that is the only way to save this country. This is the time to mobilize like never before. To make sure that Ghana does not fall into the hands of the kinds of people who, through their tribal bigotry and short-sightedness, form the National Liberation Movement. We cannot tolerate any National Liberation Movement anymore. It is in the same vein that we have to take a principled position against the Homeland Study Group. What the Homeland Study Group is doing in the Volta region is exactly what the NLM sought to do in Ashanti. And we should not tolerate it. Yeah. We should aim at building a unitary Ghanaian state. We should aim at building a unitary Ghanaian state that takes an interest in working with other African states to establish that political union of African states, which was envisaged by the 5th Pan-African Congress in Manchester in 1945. We have no option. We should go back to 1945. Take that resolution, which was passed by that Congress of Africans throughout the world, including George Padmore, including Du Bois, including Marconi, including Osadifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. That is our guiding post to prosperity and power for the African people. And we need to revisit 1945. We need to revisit 1945 to stay in our present 2021 and to walk into the future with confidence, to build that new Africa in which no child will go to bed on an empty stomach. We can do it, and we will do it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pratt. Well, so for those of you asking for the book,
be careful with that copy.
This copy is yours,
Yes.
Right, so it's very affordable, actually. I'm selling it, but I'll give you Justice Apia's number. Call Justice Apia now, so that you can get a copy, wherever it is that you are, whether you're in Tamale, Freedom Bookshop as well. No, but I'm sure a lot of people would like to order.
And if you read the inside, you find the relevant numbers,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
for the bookshop.
Yes. Yeah, but for now, we'll be leaving a copy here at Pan-African Television as well. So,
you see,
yeah.
That's why I've decided that
Fight back.
I won't talk. Because, you see, when you look at, I mean, unless we are being treated like fools, people who are incapable of memory or who read and don't understand, there is no way you can resurrect Bafa Koto as a Democrat. There's no way. And to my brother Koseprat, I was just saying that separating real Akoto from political Akoto is just the legal understanding of how that case has influenced subsequent development.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Yes, that's just what I'm saying.
But
I'm not saying the decision was wrong. The decision was, I mean,
but
I was explaining to somebody. I was explaining to somebody that when we criticize this government, especially the nomination of the what's his name, the special prosecutor, people say, but that's the law. I said, but you've forgotten that PDA was a law. You've forgotten. It was a law. You understand? So let's separate it. The moral justification or the moral stance that Bafra Kuto fought tyranny cannot be true by any stretch of imagination. Because at that time that he was launching his attacks, there was multi-party democracy. That was how come that SD, what's the name? Dombo, who was a minority leader in parliament, ceded his position to Buze to become minority leader. If there was no multi-party democracy, how could that happen? I mean, we could not rewrite history.
But Kwame, I see that a lot of people want copies of this book. Yeah. Well, I think what we should do immediately is to call the Freedom Bookshop,
right,
and to ask them to bring a few copies here, so that those who want to come to Pan Africa and get copies of the book can do so. Right. You know, so I mean, there's a small contribution to the discussion.
Yes.
But Elvis wants this. So
Elvis, we will have that conversation.